That's it. We don't even need to talk about anything. They just cheer when you walk out.
Too nice a day to be scary. I'll tell you why I'm especially glad to be here. This is why I'm especially glad. I did a book signing in Baltimore a few weeks ago, and a teacher came up to the table and she said, "Can I have my picture taken with you? The kids all think you're dead."
He's not dead. He's alive. He is here at Creep at Real OC, and we're so excited to have you here.
I have to start out, I have to tell you about an Instagram message I got just this morning.
Oh.
I really liked it. This is a perfect message. It said, "Dear R.L. Stine, thank you for introducing me to reading. Thank you for introducing me to horror. You are the biggest influence on my life. Without you, I wouldn't be a professional juggler today."
That's a nice message.
Isn't that perfect?
I love that.
Perfect message.
Listen, we have a good chunk of time here to get into things and have a nice conversation, but I just want to start with, what sort of books were you reading as a kid, and were you interested in writing and reading from a very young age?
People always ask me that. And I didn't read books when I was a kid. I read only comic books. I was just a comic book freak. And when I was a kid, there were these scary comics called Tales from the Crypt. And I just loved them. They were gruesome, bloody comics, and they all had funny twist endings, the stories. And I loved them. I used to read them in the barber shop. They had a big stack of them. And one day, I bought a couple and brought them home, and my mother stopped me at the door and she said, "I'm sorry, you can't have these. These are trash. You can't have it."
Uh-oh.
So this is a true story. Every Saturday morning I would go get a haircut so I had less hair when I was a kid than I do now because I wanted to read these comic books.
That's awesome. I gotta tell you, I was not a big reader as a kid either, and I came across a quote of yours: "You can't hear? Turn it up. They can't hear." I've let them know. They'll turn it up for you. No, I was not a huge reader as a kid either, and I came across a quote of yours that really kind of summed it up, and the solution. You once said, "Adults have the right to read something just for fun," and I've always thought kids had the same right. And I realized, I was like, yeah, for me, it was always teachers telling me what I had to read and how fast I had to read it. But then when I realized, I can read stuff I want to, when I want to, It changed everything. And I love that quote from you.
Right, it makes a big difference. I'll tell you how I became a reader. It was, my mother dropped me, I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, and my mother dropped me off at the little public library on Main Street. And the librarian was waiting for me. And she said, "Bobby, I know you like comic books. I have something else I think you will like." And she took me to a shelf of Ray Bradbury stories.
Ooh.
And that really changed my life. Those stories were so imaginative and so creative and so beautifully written, and they all had funny twist endings. And Ray Bradbury actually turned me into a reader.
Halloween Tree?
What?
The Halloween Tree, was that one?
Yeah. Well, I still read Dandelion Wine every year just to remember what really good writing is. He was a real, I will tell you about, this is an embarrassing story.
We love embarrassing stories.
This is the one time I met Ray Bradbury. It was at the LA Times Book Festival, and he was in a publisher's booth eating a hot dog. And I saw him there, and my wife said, "Go introduce yourself. Go say hello." And I said, "Oh no, I couldn't. I couldn't, he was my idol here." I said, I couldn't do it. She said, "Go ahead, he's so important to you. Go introduce yourself." I said, no, I couldn't. So finally I went over to him and I shook hands. I was scared. I was like a kid. I was scared, and I said, "Mr. Bradbury, you're my hero." And he shook hands, he turned around and he said, "Well, you're a hero to a lot of other people." It's one of those moments, and I burst into tears. See, that's the embarrassing part. No, you have these moments that are just too nice, right? It was just too nice a moment. And then I got myself together and we had a really nice talk.
I love that. Now, before there was R.L. Stine, there was Jovial Bob Stine. Let's hear about Jovial Bob Stine and how the transition from comedy
Right.
to spooky happened
Well,
for you.
you know, I never planned to be scary. It's never, and talk about embarrassing. It wasn't even my idea to write scary books, because I was just funny. All I cared about was being funny. I did a humor magazine for kids for 10 years called Bananas, and I wrote a whole bunch of kids' joke books. Here's a joke. Here's one of my best jokes.
Okay.
Remember, it's a kid's joke.
Okay.
What do you get when you cross a dog with a frog?
What do you get?
You get a dog that can lick himself from across the room. It's a kid's joke. No, but I was just funny for years. I had I loved horror. I loved, as I said, these comic books, but I never planned to write it. And then, I'll tell you the story. One day, I was having lunch with a woman named Jean Feiwell, who was editorial director at Scholastic. And she arrived at lunch angry. She had a fight with a guy who wrote teen horror, who shall remain nameless, Christopher Pike. And she said, I'm never working with him again. You go home and write a teen horror book called Blind Date. And I didn't know what she was talking about. But I said, sure, no problem. And then I ran to the bookstore to see what teen horror was. And I bought Lois Duncan and Christopher Pike and Richie Tankersley Cusick and all these people who were writing teen horror so I could figure out what it was. And then I wrote Blind Date, and it came out. It was a #1 bestseller. I'd never been on that list before with the funny stuff. And a year later, I wrote a book called Twisted, teen horror, and it was #1 bestseller. And I said, forget the funny stuff, I'm going to be scary now. And then I've been scary ever since.
And we're all grateful for it. So in 1989, we got some Fear Street. In the 92, Goosebumps came along. I'm curious, where did these names come from? Fear Street, Goosebumps. Were they your idea, or was it a publishing thing? And what inspired them?
Well, Fear Street, we decided to do a horror series, not just individual titles. And I knew I had to come up with a good name. This is not a great story. But I sat down with a pad. I knew I'd have to sit there and come up with a good name, and I wrote Fear Street. And that was it.
Listen, if you have brilliance on take one.
And there was just Fear Street. Said, right. And then my wife said, where your worst nightmares live. So we had it, right? But I'll tell you the truth about Goosebumps. I didn't want to do it.
You didn't want to do like a title or the kids?
No, I didn't want to do. They kept saying, we got to do a scary series for 7 to 12-year-olds. No one's ever done it. It's the kind of businessman I am. I didn't want to do Goosebumps, right? You believe that? I just thought it would screw up the Fear Street audience. So they kept after me. Finally, I said, all right, if I can think of a good title for the series, maybe we can do 2 or 3. And then one day I was reading TV Guide magazine, and in those days, they had the TV listings in the middle of the magazine to tell you what was on TV that week. And I'm going through the TV listings, and there's a little ad at the bottom of a page, and it said, it's Goosebumps Week on Channel 11. And I just stared at it. And I said, that is perfect. We'll call it Channel 11. That's a really bad joke, right? No, I apologize for that. But no, that's where Goosebumps came from that little ad. I knew it was just the perfect name. And I said, let's do 2 or 3. And this is 33 years. That's why I look like this. 33 years of this stuff. Can you imagine?
That's great. Did you ever start developing a story and think, oh, this is going to be a Fear Street book, but then you're like, wait, maybe this is better for Goosebumps, or vice versa? Never. You know your craft.
No, I plan it all first. I know what I'm doing. I never get fooled halfway in. This is boring. I mean, everyone hates to outline, right? But I outline every book before I write it. I do a complete chapter by chapter outline of every book. So when I sit down to write it, I know everything that's going to happen in the book. I don't have to think. I've done all the hard part. I've done all the thinking. Also, I can't be surprised. People say, "Oh, did you scare yourself while you were writing that?" No. How would I scare myself? I had it all planned out.
Do you start with a title, or?
Yeah, now, I've done every story a human can write, right? There aren't any stories left, so I don't think of ideas anymore. Now I just think of titles. That's it.
And that's the inspiration.
And then the title, back in the day, I was walking my dog in the park, and these words flashed into my mind. Say cheese and die. I know where did it come from? So I'm thinking, well, what if there was an evil camera? And what if it was a camera that took pictures of bad things that happen in the future? And kids just, and that leads me to the story. And I do that with every book, pretty much. I get the title first, and then it leads me to a story. I think that's backwards for most authors. Most authors have an idea, and then they work on it, and then later on they think about what the title will be. Sometimes I'll have an idea for a story, and I can't think of a good title, so I throw out the idea.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't have a good title. It's really, I don't care about the books, I just care about the titles.
Next time that happens, just give a brief synopsis on Instagram and ask these folks to title it for you. Maybe you'll get some good titles.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, you've written a lot of scary stories outside of Goosebumps and Fear Street. How is it decided whether or not it's going to, go? And obviously, there's the age thing, but has there ever been an idea, like, why do you decide, hey, that's not going to be Fear Street, it's going to be solo?
No, I start out by thinking what age group I'm writing for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that just informs everything for you?
I can't tell you anything about it. I'm writing an adult thriller for next year. I can't talk about it. Why did I bring it up? I can't talk about it. I don't know why I brought it up.
So the next 30 minutes is questions about that book.
No, I've actually written 4 books for adults, and no one has noticed. See, you haven't noticed. You didn't know that, did you? You didn't know. I did.
Who read them? Raise their hands. We got one there. Yell it out. What title? Okay, she's lying.
Yeah, no, I told you nobody noticed.
Everybody go get them now after this. Now, you've been writing for a young age for a very long time, and obviously things have changed. So how, has your writing changed? Has the process changed?
No, the only thing that's changed is the technology.
The technology, okay.
When you write scary stuff, your fears don't change at all. The fears are always the same. Afraid of the dark, afraid something's under your bed, afraid of getting lost, afraid of turning invisible, or your parents forget you. Or, those things never change ever. But the only thing I think Goosebumps could have been written when I was a kid back in the 50s. The only thing that changes is technology. Cell phones ruin every story. They just ruin every story. There was a Fear Street about this girl who's getting very scary phone calls. Who's calling me? Who is it? Who is it? Now you look on your phone, you know who it is, and your book is over. Right?
It's true. Every horror movie out there, the first thing that happens is they either lose phone service, the battery dies, or it breaks.
You have to get rid of the phones immediately.
Absolutely.
I was looking at an old a book of mine, a mostly ghostly book that I wrote from 1989, I think. I don't remember. It was an old book. And it had this line in it. The girl says, "I'm the only girl in my class who has a beeper and a Palm Pilot."
That's
horrible.
Nothing
Right?
ages
Terrible.
a movie as quickly as technology too. It's crazy. Just the phone in their hands.
It's really true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to try somehow to avoid it. Mainly, the technology changes every 2 weeks. I have all these characters walking around with Walkmen. Right?
We love it. Listen, we love the nostalgia. So you're writing for a lot of different age groups. What is the difference in the process, or even just timeline? Do they take about the same amount of time, or is?
No, the teen books take longer. They're longer books.
Okay.
That's all.
And the adult books even longer than that?
I'll probably spend a few months on it.
A few months? You
Yeah.
pop these things out that quick?
Well, I can't take, a lot. I get bored. I can't take. No, I'm real lucky. I've always been very quick. But I think if you do all the planning I do in advance, it really helps you to write fast.
So is that
kids always ask me about writer's block. I got a funny letter this week from a kid. Dear R.L Stine, I'm a teenager and I'm writing a novel. What do you do about burnout? That's funny, he's a teenager. Right? That's funny. He's worried about burnout. Anyway, they always ask me about writer's block. But I always say, if you do all this planning, if you have your outline, you know your middle, you know the twist, you know the ending, how can you have writer's block? You've got it all there.
So is that really what takes the most time, just the planning and the layout?
I spend a week on the outline.
Okay.
I do maybe a 20-page outline for a Goosebumps book. And the Goosebumps manuscripts are 120 pages.
Okay.
They're short.
Mm-hmm. Wow, and a 20-page outline, and that takes the most chunk of time.
It takes a week and then 2 weeks to write the book, or maybe 3.
That's insanity.
Right. Well, the whole thing, all about me is insanity. I've written 300 books.
Fair enough, I've been told.
No, that's insane. You got to be nuts.
Are you ever writing more than one book at a time?
No.
No.
No, I can't do that. I can't remember. But my characters' names change halfway through the book already. I can't. No, I can't do more than one. Listen, Isaac Asimov, the science fiction writer, lived in my neighborhood in New York, and I used to see him. Back in the day, we had to mail our manuscripts off, and I used to see him in the post office, and he would have 2 or 3 manuscripts under his arm. He wrote 550 books.
It's a lot of
I'll
books.
never catch that. And his were real books, not little skinny things, like I do.
I think this guy writes real books. What do you guys think? Have you noticed that the kid readers, have their reactions changed through the years? It's been a number of decades, so are kids more sensitive now? Are you taking that into consideration when you're writing?
Well, I had to get rid of all of Slappy's fat jokes. I had to get those no longer seemed appropriate. People are a lot more sensitive now. But there are more restrictions than there used to be. But just because, and which is a kind of a nice thing that people are more sensitive,
Now, when you're R.L. Stine, are you getting a lot of notes from, like you said, 300 books,
No, listen, I was married to my editor. It was a nightmare. Can you imagine being married to your wife? Married to your editor? What's happening to me? No, she was a very tough editor, too, and I would say the next book will make sense. But I never got away with that.
That's great.
So, no, I have really good editors. And I need he said, Bob, you did that in number 18. Bob, you've already done that title twice. That kind of thing. I'm very tough. I need all the help I can get.
How hard is it to keep pumping out original stories? Do you feel like you're repeating?
Well, I do a lot of sequels.
Yeah. Sequels are great. People love them.
No. That's the only thing I'm good at. You could ask my wife. That's the only thing I'm competent at. And I still love it. 10 in the morning, I'm there at the computers 6 days a week. I still love doing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. My new Stine Tingler's book just came out, my short story book. Stine Tingler's 4 just came out last week. And I just finished Stine Tingler's 5 for next summer. And I have a new middle grade book coming out next year called Nightmare on Nightmare Street. It's good. It's a good title, right?
I love that title. What made you think of that title? Nightmare on Nightmare Street.
I don't know.
No?
Who knows?
Are you the type of writer, have you ever dreamt one of your books?
I've never gotten an idea for a dream. I have the most boring dreams. I think because I get it all out in the daytime. I don't know. The other night I dreamed I was eating a Snickers bar. Oh, that was like exciting for me.
I will have everybody here know he was just having a Snickers bar upstairs. So you were just living a dream a moment ago.
I've never gotten an idea from a dream, and I've never gotten an idea from a kid.
Oh.
Because their ideas are so much more gruesome than mine. Kids are so grotesque. They're so gross. I can never use anything they suggest.
That's awesome. I love that. Let's talk about, speaking of like, dark kids, happy endings versus unhappy endings.
Okay.
And
I will tell you,
Yeah.
once I gave one of these books an unhappy ending.
yeah.
There was a Fear Street book I wrote called The Best Friend. And just for fun, I gave it an unhappy, just for me, just something different. I gave it an unhappy ending. And at the end, the good girl is taken away as a murderer, and the murderer gets off scot-free. Just a funny ending.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
Right. And kids hated this book. They turned on me immediately. And I got mail immediately. Dear R.L Stine, you moron. How could you write that book? You idiot. Why did you write that? Are you going to write a sequel to end the story? They could not accept it.
Oh.
And I would do school visits. In every school, some kid, why did you write that book? Why did you do that? And I wrote a sequel to do an ending.
To do a happy
I
ending.
never wrote another unhappy ending. They just seriously won't accept it.
That's crazy. Do you have speaking of writing sequels and, returning to certain characters, do you have a favorite character that, like, you get excited to write for?
No. No, I have to say Slappy, right? I have no choice. But
Slappy.
There's Slappy all over the place. I had like 4 Slappies at my signing. Slappy is my favorite character and my least favorite character. He's my favorite character because he's so popular. And I guess after the Goosebumps movie and everything, Slappy became really popular. And at Halloween time, it really is a thrill for me. There's thousands of kids go out as Slappy at Halloween time. I did a talk in Toronto at a big theater, and 40 people came dressed as Slappy. I brought them all up on stage. It looked great.
Anybody here dressed as Slappy? Raise your hands.
There are. And I looked at them all and I realized I should be in the red bow tie business. And we sold every red bow tie in Canada, right? But he's my least favorite. Now, don't tell anyone. No one's listening, right?
No.
He's my least
We're not
favorite
recording
character
this.
because I'm sick of him. No, I've had to write 15 books about a dummy that comes to life. That's not so easy, It was in my contract, Jeff, that every other book had to be a Slappy book.
Truly.
It was in my contract.
Wow.
Yeah, I was sick of him. I killed him in one book. I wrote The Ghost of Slappy and I killed him off, but I had to bring him back.
I mean, that's a good problem to have. People love it, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, no, I have all good problems to have.
True.
Yeah, you don't hear me complaining.
So when you're writing for kids, obviously you need to keep up with what the kids are into. So what are you doing for research? Are you hanging out at playgrounds or what's going on?
I hang out in my raincoat. Yes, of course. No, I have, my son was the right age when we started Goosebumps, so I would spy on him and his friends all the time, just to see what they wore and, what they taught, the way they talk.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have my grandkids and I can spy on them. My son Matt, his claim to fame, you're not going to believe this story, his claim to fame is that he never read one. Isn't that awful?
That's not still true, is it?
No, it is still true.
Oh my gosh.
He never read one, just to make me nuts. No, a writer's kid, they know how to get you, right? I knew Kurt Vonnegut's daughter, Lily Vonnegut, was 12, and she was a huge Goosebumps fan. and she wouldn't read her dad for anything. And he was Kurt Vonnegut, and she wouldn't read him.
That's crazy.
No, my son read only Garfield comics. That's all he read his whole childhood, Garfield comics. He had every collection. He'd be in his bed at night reading Garfield. And then he went off to college and he was an English major. Go figure.
That's funny. Now, you mentioned your wife is your editor, but are there other people in your life who you kind of share ideas with and whose feedback you really respect? And
Well, I have a woman, Susan Lurie, who's the Goosebumps editor, who's almost since the beginning. And, you know, we talk about her all the time. And she edits every book.
And has there ever been like a family member or anybody that's given you an idea or
No,
something?
they don't read them.
They don't read them.
They don't read them. My wife's whole job, her whole job is to keep me humble. That's all.
Yeah.
Once I was on the Today Show and I did a really good interview. I had a really good time. And I got home from the Today Show and there was a note on my desk. It said, "You were great, now plunge the toilet." That was her job.
Do you strive to like reach a certain number of books per year, and or are you like contractually obligated to hit a certain
Well,
number?
I just try to keep busy, you know.
Well, 300
yeah,
books.
No, well, I have the Goosebumps contract, so I have like 3 or 4 of those to write. And then I have other, I just get other contracts. I've been doing comic books. My Graveyard Club comic books came out this summer. I love writing comic books. Since I loved them when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So that's really fun for me. Yeah, I have like 5 or 6 projects a year, which is nice. I hate it if I don't have something.
Have you ever considered retiring?
Oh, no one asked me that question 5 years ago. No one used to ask that question.
Uh-huh.
I know. Are you going to retire? When I got letters saying, "Can someone in your family take over the books when you die?" No, writers don't retire.
Just keep going.
No, you just drop dead on your keyboard. No, I think that's true. How could you retire? What would I do? I live in New York City. There's a lot to do.
Mm-hmm.
But really, what would I do all day?
Speaking of humble,
was
he takes
talking
the
to
subway. He
What?
said, "I can't believe you take the subway in New York City. Don't you get
Why?
mobbed? Look, these people would mob you.
No.
Guys, start riding the
No,
subway
it's
in New York."
No one bothers you.
All right, cool.
It's New York City. No one bother me.
All right.
No, of course I take the subway.
Now, Goosebumps and Fear Street have both been turned into TV shows and movies, and I'd love to hear about, how those came about for you, and did you have any hesitation?
Well, no, it took them 23 years to do the Goosebumps movie.
But you had the TV
That-
series.
What?
You had the TV
We had
series.
the TV series
Yeah.
in the 90s, which was a lot of fun.
Woo!
It was a totally Canadian production. It was a Canadian team doing it and all Canadian actors. And we filmed it up in Toronto in an old Molson brewery. And that's where we filmed those shows. 11-year-old Ryan Gosling was in Say Cheese and Die. I think we used every kid in Canada. And I'm telling you, the reason we used every kid in Canada was they had no child labor laws. So we could work the kids all night. But then I would be doing a book signing here in the United States, and some kid would say, "I want to be on the Goosebumps show. How can I be on the Goosebumps show?" And I'd say, "Well, you have to be Canadian." And every time they said, "What's that?" A tribute to our school system. No one knew what a Canadian was.
One of the fun things about the TV show was you kind of played like that Rod Serling Walt Disney role, and you would introduce the stories.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? Like, were you excited to do that? Did that make you nervous? Was it a request?
I was extremely overconfident.
Oh.
And I was doing intros to all the prime time Goosebumps shows. And the first one was The Haunted Mask.
Woo!
Which is the first. That was the first show we did. And they said, I memorized my lines. And they said, "Oh, do you want a teleprompter or you want card?" I said, "I don't need that. I memorized it." They said, "Okay, let's do a run through." So I got up there and I was in the mask store, and he said, "Okay, go ahead." And I said, "Hi, I'm R.L Stine. Gone. It was all gone. I needed the cards. No, I'm just totally overconfident. It was just gone.
You need to finish that sentence because that's just too cool to hear. Hi, I'm R.L Stine. I write the Goosebumps books.
Yeah, well, I didn't remember that part.
I just gave it to you. Give us the line.
No, I'm not a trained monkey. I'm not going to do that. Come on.
Fist bump. Nice. I love it.
Anyway, that was fun. That whole series holds up pretty well. It was very low
It's
budget.
great. I mean, who here watches
it holds
Haunted
up.
Mask every Halloween?
I will tell you the story of the Haunted Mask. This is the only Goosebumps story that came from real life. Okay, it's about a girl, Carly Beth, who wants to be really scary at Halloween time. And she tries on this green mask and it sticks to her face and she can't get it off. It turns her evil. Well, here's where the idea came from. This is actually a true story. When my son Matt was a little guy, he was like 4 or 5. It was Halloween time and he was down on the living room floor he was trying on a green rubber Frankenstein mask. And I'm watching from the doorway and he pulled it on over his head and then he couldn't get it off. And I'm watching him, he's tugging and tugging. And I thought, what a great idea for a story. I should have helped him, right? I should have helped. I didn't win the Good Parent Award that day, but I started making notes for the Haunted Mask. And that's really where that story came from poor Matt stuck in the mask.
He hasn't even read that one?
No.
Oh.
No, he doesn't read them. My grandson Dylan, he came with me. I did a talk at Barnes & Noble in New York. And Dylan came, he was 10. And after the talk, I said, "Dylan, did you like the ghost story I told?" And he said, "I liked it when you told it last year." Horrible, right?
Keeping you humble. So I discovered something about you right before this interview. We were chatting. I didn't realize you're a theme park fan, and I know SoCalers, we're all theme park fans here. You were just at Walt Disney World in June.
I took 4 kids to Disney World, and I came home with all 4. I would have been happy with 3 out of 4. And here's the embarrassing part, Jeff. I was the only one who got lost.
Oh.
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad. Yeah. No, I love Disney World. Back in the 90s, we had a Goosebumps attraction at what was MGM Studios back then. Goosebumps, Horrorland, and Fright Show. That was the thrill of my life. Have my own land. So my son was so spoiled. We'd go down like 3 times a year, at least. We would have guides, and Matt would show the guides where things were. We'd been there so often. But they took it down after a year because we didn't sell enough T-shirts.
Mm.
That's a true story. Not funny, but that's a true story.
When it comes to stuff like that, like beyond the books, theme parks, merchandising, are you involved with that?
Not anymore.
No.
No, we sold Goosebumps to Scholastic.
But you were like back in the Disney MGM Studios.
Oh,
days.
we did everything.
Yeah.
We did, Goosebumps sneakers and Goosebumps bed sheets and Goosebumps, everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun.
It's very cool. Now, since this is a Halloween event and you've written a number of books during the Halloween season, do you have a favorite of them?
Oh, I think The Haunted Mask is my best Halloween story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really proud.
She's got her purse over there. Look at that Haunted Mask purse. So cool.
I'm very proud of that. I have a new movie coming this fall, October, on Tubi. The movie's on Tubi. It's called R.L Stine's Pumpkinhead. And it's a Halloween movie about a guy who traps people inside pumpkins.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty disgusting.
We love that.
Yeah, right. I think October 17th or something. It's going to be on Tubi.
And on Halloween night, does R.L. Stine have a tradition? Do you have? what do
No,
you
I'm
do
not working. I'm in places like this.
on Halloween night?
I'm gone. I'm not home on Halloween.
Oh man,
That's what I like. November 1st, everyone forgets about me. In November, I can relax.
you're like the opposite of Macaulay Culkin. November 1st hits, Macaulay Culkin goes and hides, and then you're hiding in October.
No, then I'm fine. No, if I am home, I have a skeleton in my apartment. I bring the skeleton out and give away books and candy.
You give away books?
Yeah, of course.
That's cool. Your books?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't give away your books.
Do you have to buy your books?
What?
Do you have to buy your books?
I'm not answering. That's embarrassing when you buy your own books.
Have you ever been in a bookstore and like dug through to find one of your books and put it on the front shelf?
Back in the beginning,
That's a
back when I
yes.
was writing funny books, my very first book was called How to Be Funny. And it was about how to get big laughs in school and how to break everyone up at the dinner table. My parents hated this book, and I always had to find it some shelf and bring it out because everyone hated it.
Aw.
I had my first book signing at the old Doubleday bookstore on Fifth Avenue, and I wore bunny ears. You know, How to Be Bunny for How to Be Funny, and a big stack of books. My very first signing, and no one came. No one. Well, why would you go over to a man wearing bunny ears? You wouldn't go, right? And here's the sad part: the ears were rented. I didn't even buy them. No one came.
That's hilarious. I love that. Now, obviously, we all know you for being spooky, scary man, but is there a bit of spooky in every day of your life? Or is there just, chill days where you're not thinking or working spooky?
No, well, I did get to write some funny books, where I don't have to be scary. I wrote 3 books last year about the Garbage Pail Kids. That was fun.
How'd you get involved with that?
They asked me.
Oh, cool. That must be nice. The stickers you're talking about.
Yeah, the cards.
Yeah.
Those cards.
That's great.
I picked out 10 kids and wrote 3 novels about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun.
I've noticed lately you're doing a lot of events like these, and listen, you're a very successful person. You don't need to be doing these, so what's bringing you out
This is
to
fun
them?
for me. Come on, everyone's so nice to me. Wonderful. I mean, who would complain about this? What's not? I don't get this at home. This is so nice.
That's awesome. So you told us, you gave us a little tease about what you're working on right now. I'm gonna tell us a little more. Come on.
What?
The adult book is what you're working on.
No, I'm
right?
not telling more about the adult book.
What about?
I'm right in the middle of a Goosebumps called What We Do at Night, which everyone hates that title. Everyone hates it, but the cover's all done, so we can't change it.
Speaking of the covers, the covers are iconic. Tim Jacobus has been your illustrator for a very long
Tim
time.
did the first 100 cover painting. He was wonderful.
That's amazing. And how did that, do you have approval over stuff like that, or?
Well, he was just great. Tim's the only cover artist we ever had who got it, that it's not just horror, it's also funny. He got both. And I would be writing the book, and I would send him like a little paragraph and say, this is a book about a guy who's turning into a plant down in the basement. And he would send in the cover painting, and he got all of them right except one. He got every single cover. It was like perfect, except for one cover.
Which one?
And that was the cover for Say Cheese and Die, which is about this evil camera that takes evil pictures. And he sent in a painting of a family of skeletons barbecuing. It had nothing to do with the book. So the editors called me, of course, and said, Bob, you have to add a chapter with skeletons barbecuing. He couldn't change the painting, right? And so I added a dream sequence where the kid is dreaming about skeletons barbecuing. And that's how we got around it. That's the only time he missed.
That's crazy. Now, I'm going to open this up to see if anybody has questions.
Good.
If you can shout really loud, raise your hand. I'll get you right
I
here.
won't be able to hear, so.
I'll repeat it for you. Shout real loud. Okay, so the question is about Jack Black playing R.L. Stine in the Goosebumps movie. She wants to know, how do you feel about that?
Jack and I are like twins, right? People mistake us all the time. No, we had a great time. He's wonderful, and we just had a great time doing that. When we started out, this is true. A lot of people said on Twitter and everywhere said, "Oh, Jack Black playing you, that's great. Your movie's going to be fabulous." And then a lot of people said, "Your movie's going to suck. Jack Black is terrible." And then a bunch of people said, "Well, you should play yourself on the Goosebumps movie. Who knows you better than you?" And I went to my wife, Jane, and I said, "Jane, a lot of people think I should play myself in the Goosebumps movie." And she said, "You're too old to play yourself."
Your wife is vicious.
Vicious. How horrible is that? And of course it was true, but how awful is that to be too old to play yourself?
Oh, man.
No, we had a great time. And he's a really good guy. We've kept in touch.
Are we going to get another one of those? There were two,
No.
correct? No?
There are two Goosebumps movies, and they turned out good. You know, you never know what you're going to get. I didn't have any input. My only input on the Goosebumps movie, I got them to take out 2 Stephen King jokes. That was it. That's all I did.
Why?
What?
You didn't want the Stephen King
No,
jokes?
I don't brag about, being better than somebody.
Oh, okay.
I hate that.
Do you get that comparison a lot? Like you're the
No,
No.
Well, I'm Stephen King for kids,
Yeah.
right?
Is
I
that
met him only once. I met Stephen King at an Edgar Awards party, and we had a really nice talk. And I said to him, "Steve, did you know that a magazine once called me a training bra for you?" That's true. Somebody called me a literary training bra for Stephen King, and he said, "Yes, I know." It's the only time I ever ran into him. He never comes down from Maine.
Anybody else got a question? We'll go right there. She asked what his favorite books was to read to his kids. You know, not Goosebumps books, because apparently they don't want those stories. But what books were you reading to your kids?
I don't remember.
Oh, that's a good one.
No, there are a million classic children's books, and you try to read them all and just, have them experience them all. There's an amazing new children's book that just came out last week, talk about Stephen King. It's a new version of the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel. It's a magnificent book. Stephen King rewrote the story of Hansel and Gretel, and the art is by Maurice Sendak, who did Where the Wild Things Are. And the art is opera stage settings that Sendak did for the opera of Hansel and Gretel. And you should look at it. It's a beautiful book. Just a great new book, not just for kids, for everybody. It's really magnificent.
What are you reading for your own enjoyment these
I
days?
read mostly mysteries and thrillers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the Thursday Murder Club books. Been reading those. Harlan Coben is a friend of mine, and I love Harlan's thrillers. He always has at least 20 twists in every book. And I'm reading the new Slow Horses novel now by Mick Herron. You ever know that show on Apple?
What about doing another show for your new books?
I don't know, Yvonne, have we? Yeah, we think about it a lot. So, yeah. No, yeah, we're working on things.
I'm gonna-
Working on some surprises.
Tell us everything.
No.
So that adult book that you're working on. Anime?
Well, my Steintinglers short story series, we're about to do a whole series based on these short stories in anime. So that should be, I've never had that before. That should be really interesting. Here's the title of my adult book. But I didn't tell you, right?
We didn't hear everything.
No. The title of the book is Let's All Kill Rosalie.
Let's
That's the title.
kill Rosie.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's it. That's all I can say.
Are we gonna get an unhappy ending?
I don't know.
Well, right. How dare you, R.L. Stine? How dare you? I will choose somebody in the back if you promise to shout so I can hear you. Any hands in the back? Right back there. The glasses, orangish haired. Yeah, waving your arms. Just asking about Twilight Zone and whether or not that was an inspiration for you.
Yeah, Rod Serling is a big hero of mine. The Twilight Zone, when I was like a teenager, was on every Friday night, and I never missed it. And they actually did an episode about a ventriloquist whose dummy comes to life and ruins his career. I remember that. But no, Rod Serling was very important to me.
Let me ask you, since Rod Serling was so important, this might sound like a little egomaniac here, but the opening of the Goosebumps show that you did, was that your idea? Like, I want to have that Rod Serling moment?
No, they asked me.
They asked you. Okay, cool. No ego.
No.
Keeping you humble.
That's me, humble.
Plunging the toilet.
That's me all over.
Very cool.
No ego at all.
I see a hand, I don't see a face. A black wristband. There you go, that's you. Shout, please. Favorite what?
Horror book.
Favorite horror book. Oh,
My favorite horror novel?
no, hold on a sec. I didn't. Favorite what? Horror. That's what I said. Favorite horror.
What are they talking about?
Whores, apparently.
Favorite horror novel? I think Stephen King's Pet Cemetery. That's just the most amazing premise, I think. I think it's his scariest book. I've actually stolen that premise about 5 times. It's so good.
I love that. Any other hands? We get you right there with the pattern, the braids there, yeah.
Going back to theme parks for a second,
Theme parks.
what is your favorite attraction at Walt Disney World?
What is your favorite attraction at Walt Disney World?
Well, I just did the Star Wars ones and the Avatar.
Yes.
They were magnificent. They were really great. The Avatar ride was incredible.
The Flight of Passage,
Yeah.
yeah, and Rise of the
And
Resistance,
the other one,
yeah.
The
Very-
one where you're on a motorcycle.
Oh yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Awesome. Any other hands? Right here, front row. Favorite Universal monster?
Well, I love the original Frankenstein movie, just for the shadows. I think the shadows are the star of that movie. It's just brilliant. Just the lighting of that film is incredible.
Is there any genre you haven't written yet that you would like to?
Romantasy?
Romantasy?
No, I like doing what I'm doing.
All right, cool.
That's it. One more question.
All right,
We're
one
outta
more
here.
question.
Who is a really good
Good
question?
question.
Then we're outta here.
I saw her back there with the glasses and the blonde and the sun blinding you.
Are you a fan of horror mazes?
Are you a fan of horror mazes, like Halloween haunted house mazes?
I've never seen one.
You've never been to like Halloween Horror Nights or?
No, I'm no fun.
That's what we're doing.
Let's go.
Let's go to Halloween Horror Nights
All right,
tonight.
all right.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you all.
We're gonna
This is
slap
fun.
you back there. Everybody, thank you so much for coming out. Really appreciate it.